Clemson hires Auburn assistant coach Nick Ethan Bryan Harsin will need to hire a third different defensive line coach in less than a year. Nick Eason, who spent the 2021 season coaching Auburn's defensive line, is returning to his alma mater, Clemson, as its new defensive run game coordinator, defensive tackles coach. Clemson tabbed Eason as a replacement for Todd Bates, who coached Clemson's defensive line the past 5 seasons but joined Brent Venables' staff at Oklahoma this week. Eason's hiring was approved by Clemson's Board of Trustees on Friday morning. Read more Auburn football. Former Texas A&M QB Zach Calzada transferring to Auburn. A closer look at Auburn's 2022 quarterback room. Auburn kicker Anders Carlson returning for 6th season. Nick is the epitome of what I look for in a coach, Clemson coach Dabo Swinney said. He has an incredible passion for the game, he has got a great background and he truly loves the player. In this hire, I really wanted a guy who had great experience at the NFL level. I wanted somebody who has coached the best of the best at the highest level, and that's exactly what has done. He was a great player at Clemson and has a great Clemson man. Eason's move marks the second staff change for Auburn since the end of the regular season. Harsin previously made a change at offensive coordinator, firing Mike Bobo after 1 season and replacing him with former Seattle Seahawks quarterbacks coach Austin Davis. Eason joined Harsin's staff nearly a year ago when he was hired shortly after Harsin's original hire for the position. Former Auburn great Tracy Rocker left the program for a similar role with the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles. Prior to being hired at Auburn, Eason spent 7 seasons coaching in the NFL, most recently serving as the Cincinnati Bengals defensive line coach during the 2019 and 2020 seasons. A native of Lyons, GA, Eason played his college ball at Clemson, where he appeared in 47 games and made 35 starts along the defensive line for the Tigers while also serving as a team captain during his junior and senior seasons. He finished his Clemson career with 153 tackles, including 30 for a loss and 15 sacks. He was then drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 4th round of the 2003 NFL Draft and spent a decade playing in the league before jumping right into coaching. As a guy that I've followed for many years and a guy that I've had my eye on for our staff for many years, Swinney said. I just hadn't had the right opportunity with the right timing to hire him, but, man, as we always say, everything is always on God's timing. This was the right time for us at Clemson and also for Nick. During Eason's lone season on the Plains, Auburn's defensive line performed well. The Tigers finished the year with 36 sacks, which ranked 34th nationally and was the program's most since 2018. 30 of those sacks came from defensive linemen. Auburn's 96 tackles for loss were also its most since 2018 and ranked 17th among FBS defenses. While Auburn generated a more consistent pass rush under Eason's guidance, the Tigers also saw a considerable improvement against the run this past season. Auburn limited opponents to just 3.51 yards per carry, which was the team's best mark since the 2010 national championship season and ranked 21st nationally among FBS teams. It was also a marked improvement from 2020, when Auburn surrendered 4.18 yards per rush attempt in the pandemic-shortened season. Now Eason is headed back to where it all started for him, Clemson. To have this opportunity to come back to Clemson is a blessing from God, Eason said. It is a dream for most coaches to have the opportunity to coach at your alma mater, and that is the case for me. I want to thank Coach Swinney for the opportunity to be a part of a program with such a rich tradition, one that has become one of the best in the nation. I am looking forward to working with one of the best defensive lines in the country. The Clemson Board of Trustees approved a 3-year contract for Eason worth $750,000 annually. Overall, he is the 4th different assistant to leave Harsin's staff in the last year, joining Rocker, Bobo and former wide receivers coach Cornelius Williams, who was fired just 4 games into the season. Eason leaves Auburn with 1 year remaining on his 2-year contract worth $700,000 annually. Eason will owe Auburn a quarter of the remaining money on his contract, $175,000, for leaving the program for a position with a non-sec school, according to the terms of his deal signed last January. Tom Green is an Auburn beat reporter for Alabama Media Group. Follow him on Twitter at Thomas_Verde.